Good evening, everybody. Hello. This is becoming my favorite spot to do these videos, although I'm still at a weird angle. The camera seems like I'm not looking directly at it. Anyway, I guess I like having Neil and Chris in the background. I don't feel so alone. Tonight I just want to do a quick video on sound. Yes, sound. I don't know, it just came to mind. I know why. My neighbor. If you're facing the front door of my apartment, about like as if you're about to go out, on the right hand side there's an apartment, on the left hand side there's an apartment, and above and below me, of course. I don't think there's any neighbors to my left. I don't think it's occupied. If it is, there must be very, very quiet. I suspect it's empty. Maybe just an investment apartment, or just an apartment that no one wants to buy. Empty, I assume. The one on the right, though, there is an Asian couple there. They look Asian in appearance. Older than me, I would think. Like of grandparents' age, not with walking frames or walking sticks, but older. And they're noisy, in bursts. Like when they're coming home at night, even if it's 11 p.m. or after midnight, they'll speak at the top of their lungs. They might have a phone that's blasting the speakers on, whatever they're listening to or having a conversation with. And they also wrestle their door very roughly, I think, loudly. All the front doors are the same design as far as I can tell. I don't know if it's standard or not, but my door has one of those slow hinges that slow down the door, so if you let it go it doesn't slam. It kind of hydraulically closes slower, I guess, if that's the right terminology. I don't know if they do, or if they do, they've forced it to not go softly. They just seem to bash the door shut and open, and yeah, I'm surprised it hasn't broken or needed maintenance. They just seem to be handling it quite roughly. If you do let go of the door, it does make a bit of a slamming noise, but also the previous owner, his apartment, or the previous owners, I've noticed, has also put a strip of soft kind of felt around the edge of the door frame, so that also helps to soften the closure, the sound of the closure of the door, of my door anyway. But the neighbors to my right, they just, noise doesn't seem to be a problem for them. I don't hear them when they're inside the apartment. The walls luckily must be pretty thick, unlike you hear some apartments, or done to comic effect like Spider-Man, the Spider-Man films with Tobey Maguire, where you can hear, his apartment is run down and it's, the walls are paper thin. Or you've stayed at hotels where you can hear your neighbors quite clearly, even if they're having a conversation, or if they have the TV a little bit loud, you can hear it quite loudly through the walls. These walls, well, they're not soundproof. I mean, they're soundproof to a degree. There is a neighbor upstairs, or neighbors upstairs, I can't exactly pinpoint. If I had to guess, are they bouncing a basketball onto the carpet or tiles of their apartment, or one of those medicine balls? It just sounds like a thud. I hate to think they're pushing each other to the ground. It just sounds like, well, if it's like a wrestling comparison, just like someone throwing someone on the ground and they're landing on their back, just that thud kind of noise. And also maybe their door, they're also manipulating it very roughly, so it kind of bangs and thuds. And also sounds like they're dropping on the tiled area coins or screws or something, or nuts. It just goes clank, like a clanking metallic noise now and again. At first I thought, oh, they must be renovating, but surely they must be finished by now. It seems to be going on for months, periodically, not all throughout the day, and I'm not here obviously all the time, like when I'm at work. And also, yes, the street noise. I've mentioned that in other videos, where currently my balcony looks onto a major road, major intersection actually. And yes, if you, I don't know if it's just a Australian term, I think you'd understand this in any country. Hoon drivers, hoon drivers who rev their cars really loudly and burn rubber with their tires and on motorbikes or cars, or just, I don't know, tinker with their engine so it makes much more noise, or with their mufflers so it makes more noise. think a muffler would muffle noise, but no, they kind of tweak it so it makes more noise. Yes, you can hear that, but I could hear that also when I lived with my parents in the suburbs. Well, I'm still in the suburbs, but not. My parents lived in a very side street, away from major roads, and yes, if someone decided to drive, loudly down the street where they live, yes, you obviously can hear that because it's so shatteringly loud, especially in the wee hours of the morning. Fortunately, I'm a heavy sleeper, so touch wood, short of something going wrong in the apartment building, such as an evacuation, hopefully a false alarm, I would hear that. The alarm, I've heard the alarm, it's quite loud and it's meant to be to get your attention, and they've turned on the alarm as a test as well, which you'll hear the billing manager say, "The following is just a test, we are testing the alarm system, the following is just a test only." Repeating, the following is just a test. I can see a speaker on the ceiling above my bed, and there's sprinkler systems fitted inside the apartment and also in the public walkways. So yes, I would say this apartment is compliant with emergency equipment and evacuation signs, floor plans in the public walkways, also the stairwell. I've used the stairwell occasionally because sometimes the lifts take so long, and it's a type of lifts new to me that you can actually block off. Like the cleaners can actually, there's two lift wells. One lift well can be reserved for the cleaners, like they can lock it to their use, and you'll see that on the sign above the door of the lift, which says locked or booked or something like that in red letters, so that the cleaners don't get interrupted, when they need to move the skip bins and empty them from each floor. You can imagine how annoying that is if they left it unlocked and you walked in and they were trying to bring a skip bin in with you. It'd be squashed at the back of the lift. So, yeah, and that doesn't take them, hours on end, but by booking or blocking off one lift, they can do their jobs much more efficiently, and you don't have to be squashed inside the lift with potentially bad odors coming from the skip bins, which shouldn't, because they are for recycled materials such as plastic, paper and cardboard, and they shouldn't have any food products or rotting smells in them. Yes. Sometimes and if it's really, really quiet and I haven't fallen asleep, I can hear the electric water heater, the water system that heats the water for the shower, make a clunking noise. I've looked up online, that's normal, to do with the pressure or something, or whenever it's hotter or colder, it just naturally makes that kind of noise. Again, very periodically, not constantly clanging or banging. I can hear the fridge kind of gurgling or making kind of electric noises there too, but that again is normal. Obviously, if I have the electric heaters on, I have two small fans that are electrically powered with a fan, and yeah, the higher setting you turn it up, the louder the fan will sound. So yeah, but that's kind of a comforting noise because in wintertime you're getting warmer when those devices are on. Right now I'm using the air fryer, so I can hear that exhaust fan from the air fryer make that sound. Again, that's not a jarring sound, it's just equipment noise. Obviously, when you use the microwave, you can hear that sound of the microwave working, and it beeps at the end. Many things beep. The fridge, if I leave the door open, it beeps to remind me. The microwave beeps to let me know it's done its cycle. The air fryer will beep, and the washing machine will also beep to remind me that the cycle has finished. I know the washing machine and the microwave will continue to beep, and the fridge door, until they're attended to. The air fryer, as far as I can tell, will just beep a couple of times, and then it's ready for me to take out the contents that I've cooked. The electric fan heaters have a thermostat, so again they will switch off if it reaches a certain temperature. Yeah, what else? Obviously mobile phones. I keep my phone on ring or sound, not vibrate or silent, because actually I have two mobile phones, and short of it, I just had a backup phone when I went to America last time. I only thinking a backup phone, but anyway, I decided to do that. So there was a time when I didn't have any smartphones. Only since 2015 have I had a smartphone. So I've just caught up with all of you in 2015. I know prior to that you probably all had a smartphone. I hadn't yet. I hadn't crossed over into the 21st century. Or was it the 20th century then? No, 21st by then. What was I saying? Oh, the phones, yes. So when I've misplaced one phone, not having to, lift up furniture and where is it, but yeah, if I just ring one of the two phones, and if the ring tone is on, then you can hear the sound. If you have it on vibrate or silent, it's much more difficult to find. I know there's devices where you can find your phone. I haven't tried that with Android. I'm not sure if that is a feature or is it just with Apple phones. What else? I made a short video months and months ago, maybe 9 months ago, when it's particularly windy conditions around the area, and yeah, you can hear a whistling noise through, I guess, my door, or at least the public walkways. You can hear it when you're waiting for the lifts. On the left is the stairwell, and then on the right is the 2 lift wells. The door of the emergency stairwell or the accessible stairwell makes a whistling noise as well, or you can hear the door shuddering a little bit. I mean, I can't hear that from here, but there are apartments much closer to the lift wells, and I wonder if they can hear that whistling noise and shuddering of the door. Obviously the pinging of the elevators as well, not very loud, but it pings when it reaches your level, so the door opens and closes and goes bing. So again, I know when I stay at hotels and they have that little box online that says if you have any requests, I always request, if possible, I know it's no guarantee, to be for my hotel room to be far away from any lift wells or stairwells. Just the sensitivity of, they want to cram as many guests as they can. So often you'll see a hotel room in front or adjacent to a lift well or a stairwell, and I don't want that room. I don't know if it's any cheaper, probably not. But yeah, just the thought of people trudging back and forth, the lift doors closing and opening, and the sound, different lift designs have different sounds, and some might be louder or softer. Bing, bing noise, or the actual sound of the lift going up and down, that mechanical noise. I know I said I'm have I said I'm a heavy sleeper? I am, but I think, maybe initially when you're trying to get to sleep, I would hear that, and that would get annoying. So I don't mind walking a bit further to get to the lift or the stairs, bar an emergency. I always try to travel light, so I just usually have one suitcase with wheels and just, a shoulder bag. I think I've covered everything. One conscious decision of absence of noise. I mean, as much as I love music, you can see music posters on my wall, such as the Pet Shop Boys there and the Vamps above them. And to the, of this video, it's to the right, you'll see New Kids on the Block. They're art cards that were part of their new album, Still Kids. It came with those postcard type cards. Anyway, so I love music, and I've been to concerts, as you know. Recently I was quite chuffed to be in communication, obviously through YouTube, the comment section. I commented on someone's channel, and amongst those comments, I'm talking about Conan Gray, who came to Melbourne on the 11th of July this year, 2024. I was just browsing the internet, just browsing YouTube, just to see if anyone else had decided to film any footage. And I notice often people just do 30 seconds or like a TikTok style recording. And in that comment thread, I read somebody say to the content creator of that particular channel, do you know anyone who's filmed the entire concert? And that person's reply was, I'll try to find out, or something like that. And I happened to read that, and I stepped in and commented, if you look on my channel, I have the entire concert of Conan Gray, not in set list order, because I choose to film them in pieces, like each track as a standalone track. And when it's uploaded to YouTube, it's just however order or however quick each track is uploaded. So it's never in the set list order. So as long as you don't mind that, I wrote something, you're welcome to see my channel. And since then, I put it into a playlist. So Conan Gray is in a playlist. Why am I mentioning all that? You'd think that because I love music, I would constantly have music on in the background, either on radio or my record player or a CD player or cassette player. But no, I think, I know it's going to sound like a criticism, but it's just something I just had to get used to. When I lived at home, there was a kitchen radio. When I say kitchen, a radio in the kitchen on a shelf on the wall that was always tuned to an easy listening station. I think Melbourne has at least one, or maybe just one or two. And, they would play, when I say easy listening, not thudding, like strobing, sort of like, what do you call it, rave music. It'd just be music that's very easy to listen to. I call it easy listening. So lots of ballads and, kind of a softer sort of style of music. And that would be on, my parents would leave that on pretty much as soon as one of them woke up to when they went to bed. So potentially that radio station would be on just approximately 7 a.m. in the morning till 11 p.m. at night. And again, when I lived with my parents, I wasn't at home all the time. Or you can probably maybe hear that beeping noise. That's the air fryer telling me my food's ready, so I'll stop in a moment. So having that on all the time is nice. Like, it wasn't a silent house, but, respecting my parents' preferences of how they set up the house. They didn't want me lowering the volume or changing the radio station. It just had to be that particular station at the set volume that they set it at. It wasn't blasting, but I could definitely hear it from my bedroom. Even if I shut the door, I could still hear it, if I wasn't listening to anything else, of course, in my bedroom. And since I lived home for decades before I decided to move here, where you see me now, it kind of got to me a little bit. Like, it wasn't at all like felt like a punishment, but just like, like you hear something that's on all the time and you don't have control of it, you try to block it out. Sometimes it'll be white noise, but other times there might be a song that I like. It's rare that they would play a Pet Shop Boys song or Kylie as part of their rotation of music. But occasionally, if one of either Kylie or Pet Shop Boys songs fit the radio station parameters of a easy listening track, my ears would prick up and I'd kind of tune into that. But then when it wasn't, I try to block it out. Or if they had the hourly news reports, I would kind of listen to that, because it'd be nice just to hear maybe what the weather was like, if I didn't already check it on my phone, or, a news bulletin. You just hear. Sometimes there were music concerts that I would hear first on the radio before I saw it on the internet. So there was an advantage. But all other times, I would wish there were times when the radio station wasn't on all the time, between 7 a.m. and 11 p.m. every single day, 365 days a year. Anyway, so when I moved into this apartment, and I've touched on how, at times, that fine line, or for me, the fine line between loneliness and being alone, I thought I would need something on all the time to replicate what I had when I used to live with my parents. So either a talkback radio station, or I wouldn't put that same radio station because that's just too close, literally to home, no pun intended. So I don't really. So like now, because I am recording when YouTube, again, copyright, I wouldn't have, say, Kylie blasting in the background or Pet Shop Boys. But I'm finding I can manage without having to have music on often, quite selectively, really, or sometimes not at all. Over this past weekend, I haven't listened to any music in the apartment. So ironically, again, kind of out of privacy, I don't want to show the whole apartment. I could, show you everything that's in here, like a slow pan, 360 degrees all around me. But just believe me, there are hundreds and hundreds of CDs around me in shelves. That's probably the most in quantity. Then below that would be in quantity would be DVDs. I know I'm still old school. I do have one or two Blu-rays, and I have a Blu-ray player, but I haven't actually plugged that into the TV. So yeah, still old school as much as possible. Then the next quantity below that would be vinyl records, and then below that would be cassettes, because as you know, even modern style box set releases of music often have every format. Oh, you can choose to have it in every format. So a particular artist, you can have it with the vinyl version, the CD version, and the cassette version. So yeah, that's why I'm wondering, why am I still collecting cassettes? Sometimes by default you have no choice. A box set comes with cassettes. Yeah, So that surprised me. I thought when I moved into this apartment, I definitely, I'd want music on at particular, times, and not just have it silent. I mean, other than, background noise such as the air fryer, which I can hear now. I can hear the fan by default. The exhaust fan's still on, even though the cycle of cooking has stopped. That should turn off momentarily, I would assume. Yeah, that's it really. So by the middle of August by the middle of August next month, it'll be already 15 months that I'll be here in the apartment. So it's 14 months or so now. And yeah, I think I pretty much settled into the sounds around me, within the apartment, around the apartment, and the street noise surrounding the apartment. Yeah, so I don't know, so it was a spontaneous topic to talk about. Maybe it's something you don't really think about, but definitely at home with all those years of having one easy listening station or another being played every single day between 7 a.m. approximately and 11 p.m. every day. Yeah, ironically, being that was music being played, it wasn't my choice of music, so it wasn't like it was a CD player. I mean, it wasn't like I could put a cassette in or a CD and, have the Pet Shop Boys album played for some time and then put it back to radio station. No, the radio station was on between those hours every day. My parents would say it is, in some ways, I agree, is a way to make it sound like somebody's home. I know you can't really hear it from the front door. I don't mean to make it sound like, touch wood, my parents' house is an easy target in terms of thieves, but to me that doesn't work. The kitchen is far into the house, and the volume of the radio, so I can hear it from my bedroom inside, but I can't hear it from the front door. So if a postman or postperson was trying to knock on the door and trying to listen to somebody inside, you couldn't hear the radio station. Even if you could, of course, it doesn't mean that somebody is necessarily home or not. Anyway, I'm rambling about that, but that definitely has had an effect on me on what I put in or if I do put anything on in the background here in the apartment. Some people put their TV in the background, just any channel, just having some sound or, a sound of someone's voice. For me, I guess that's YouTube. I do watch a lot of YouTube, and I have a YouTube channel. So, yeah, most of my content these days are from YouTube. So, and I don't just put on YouTube in the background. I mean, I'll have it maybe in the background to help me sleep, or just in the background to fall asleep to, but I won't just have my phone on and just, put something on just to break the silence. All right. Thank you for listening. And until next time, take care, everyone. Bye.